It is Tuesday at noon here on 1340 WJOL. That means it's time to get real with Eddie. And once again, we are here in the studio, actually on the phones, not this time, again, because we're just getting bad. We got some bad habits. But joining me is, of course, Terry Trotter Early from the Federal Savings Bank, NMLS 579177. Terry, how are you?
I am doing great, but Eddie, we're not bad. We are just being responsible citizens and making sure that we have time to vote and do all the things that need to be done on Election Day.
This is true. It is Election Day, and we got out and I voted already this morning. So very excited and to get moving through to the next chapter, next phase, and we will see what happens after today, I guess. Or hopefully after today.
But it's just important that everybody just votes.
So we're talking real estate, and the real estate just keeps showing unprecedented strength in the article that we start with here. And that is the fact that the housing market is just looking stronger than ever. Lawrence Yun, chief economist, the National Association, home sales continue to amaze. And there are plenty of buyers in the pipeline ready to enter the market. Further gains in sales are likely for the remaining of the year. The mortgage rates hovering around 3% and with continued job recovery. And I think that is one of the big keys, is the job recovery. It's just a huge factor we're going to talk about in a second. But the market is looking stronger than ever. Are you slowing down? Because I really am not.
A little bit, but it's been recently, and that's not abnormal around election time, I would say. I don't think anything's abnormal about what's happening in this one instance of the world right now. But yeah, so just like within the last week, I would say the pre-approval calls have just slowed down a touch. Still getting a ton of refinance calls.
Yeah, the refinance calls have been a big thing actually for me. Well, should I refinance? Yes, you should refinance. What's your interest rate? I get people calling me telling me the rate's at 6%. Why are you questioning this? Refinance.
Yeah, absolutely. Some I think are calling and
go ahead
and asking questions. Some I think are calling and asking questions. Should I refinance right now, or I think this is maybe why they're calling you too, or should I look to sell and potentially buy a new house?
Yeah. That's been a big thing too. I have one right now that's like, well, we don't know if we should sell or if we should buy. And I'm like, we need to sit down and find out what your house is worth. Let me come in, do an evaluation of your property, and let's look at that aspect of it and then go from there. So this is an interesting. Frank Martell, president and CEO of CoreLogic. All right. Homeowners' balance sheets continue to bolster by home price appreciation, which in turn mitigate foreclosure pressure, which we've been saying here. Although the exact counters of the economic recovery remain uncertain, we expect current equity gains fueled by strong demand for available homes will continue to support homeowners in the near term. Frank, if that's the question, my only question to you is, why are you guys out there saying that the market's only going to go up by like 0.6%?
That's true. Yeah, last week we talked about that, and they were that one outlier, weren't they?
It is CoreLogic, and they seem to be the one pessimist on the market, that they're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I'm not seeing the signs. I'm not seeing it. Demand is up, supply is down. This is a market that's being driven by market factors. This is not a market that is being driven by a third outlying source, where in 2008 we had a financial crisis that crushed the real estate market. So, I mean, and Zillow predictions for seasonal adjusted home prices and pending sales are more optimistic than previous forecasts because sales and prices have stayed strong through the summer months amid increasing shorted inventory and high demand. The pandemic also pushed the buy season further back in the year, adding to recent sales. Future source of uncertainty, including lapsed fiscal relief, the long-term fate of policies supporting the rental and mortgage market, and the virus-specific factors were incorporated into this outlook. So, and that is, I would say, the one weak spot of the market is renters not paying the rent, and now landlords having to deal with that.
I've heard about that. I've been fortunate that my people have all been able to continue to make their payments.
Yeah, as a landlord
But
yourself,
I know some others are
that
struggling.
is a big factor. I have only one unit, as we talk about, and my renter is a rock star, just a rock star.
That's awesome.
So, but the big thing is that looking at all of this comes into play is, I think, the unemployment. And we talked about it last week, looking at unemployment numbers, okay? And I found some data, and we've got this meme out that we've got this out in the marketplace already. Number of months of unemployment greater than 9%, okay? During the Great Depression, all right, you had unemployment over 108 months. The 108 months of unemployment. That's years of unemployment. The Great Recession,
over 9%.
Your unemployment number was over 9%. Over 9%. That's years of unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
Unemployment during the Great Recession, over 9%. You had 30 months. Now, and keep in mind, these are 30 months straight. 30 months of unemployment, over 9%.
Wow.
That's almost 3 years.
Yeah.
36 months would be 3 years.
Yep.
The oil recessions in the 1980s, which would be the early 1980s, 19 months of unemployment, over 9%. This recession in 2020, 4 months unemployment, over 9%.
Wow.
So that would have been April, May, June, July. 4 months.
And I think that goes back, I know we spent a lot of time in March and April, talking about different shapes of recovery. I think this really just illustrates that V-shaped recovery is what we seem to be in.
It does illustrate a V-shaped recovery when you're looking at the unemployment. And I don't mean to play this down. I know unemployment's at 7.9%. I know there's a lot of individuals that are struggling. There's a lot of individuals that do not have work. What this does say is that those jobs are coming back. Those jobs are going to be developed, and it's going to come back, and it is coming back faster than we've ever seen in our lifetime. And the biggest, I think, point to this is last week they released the GDP number for the third quarter. 33.1% GDP for the third quarter. Up 33 points. I have never seen a number up 33.1%. Usually it's 4 or 5% at the most, but it's more like 3%. A double-digit GDP increase. And keep in mind, this beat the street by 3 points. They were hoping for 30.1. They got 33.1.
Yeah, that's so impressive.
It really, really makes a big difference of what's going on in the market and how people are finding jobs, how people are moving forward. And we're seeing it. The question comes into play is, would the market be doing this well and this hot if we didn't have these low interest rates? because the low interest rates are definitely pushing the market.
You mean if all things were considered, we were in a pandemic, all of these things were considered, what, I don't know. I think it might be, simply because a lot of the movement that I've been seeing has been people, from people that are that need new things and are looking for things in their home that weren't in their last ones, like more space for offices, a bigger backyard. It seems like those types of things are contributing factors for why people are looking to move, and I think that would be here anyway.
And that's a good point. Is the reason why people are moving, because we were seeing individuals moving out of the city before the pandemic. We were seeing that happen. But this definitely has put a, faster pace to that. They're definitely
there's a sense of
moving.
urgency. Yeah,
Definitely a sense of urgency to it. So that is making a big, big difference when it comes to what is truly going on, in the pandemic. The other big number that came out too, talking about the unemployment last week, 751,000 unemployment filings for the week before. Okay, that's the lowest number they've seen during the pandemic.
well, that's encouraging.
So there are a lot of encouraging numbers, and this goes to, because I know there's appraisers listening, and I know I talk to appraisers, because every appraiser I've talked to, their fear, the jobs market, the jobs market, the jobs market, the jobs market. And the jobs market, don't get me wrong, it's stable, it's doing well. Do we want it to do better? Absolutely, and it's going to take time to get that number back down to where it was before the pandemic. But at the same time, last unemployment number was 7.9. That is a huge number, and that's just showing the strength of everything that's going on. You've got unemployment going down, you've got a great GDP number for the third quarter, and you've got these extremely low interest rates. Me and you had one close last week. The buyer was locked 2.6.
2.625, yeah. Yep.
That's giving money away.
It feels like honestly, that. I keep saying money's on sale.
Money is on sale. If you're looking to buy anything, whether you have to sell or not, that's not the question. Do you want a new house? Are you needing a new property? You are getting affordability factors right now in this market that I have not seen, I think, in any lifetime. Because, if you can get a rate at under 3%, they're giving you money. I like to buy cars that way. I'm a big thing about cars, and we just went through this with my wife. All right, and she was determined to get the deal from the credit union because it was a low interest rate, very low interest rate. We ended up not utilizing the credit union. We ended up using the makes financing from their corporate, because it was a 0%. And since they had 0% financing, we lost like a $1,250 incentive because of the 0%, because we took the 0%. But in the amount of interest we saved like another $2,600. So we came out like $1,000 ahead. You got to look at all the numbers, and that's the moral there is you got to look at every number. Prices are up, absolutely. How is your job doing? Are you secure in your job? And we talked about that survey last week. 83% of people out there in the market are secure in their position. Do you have a pay raise coming? Because if you buy on this year's money, but you're going to get another 1% next year, that's just giving you a little bit more cushion. I mean, these are factors in this market, that come into play. Price, the interest rate, and your job growth, income growth. I mean, are you seeing anything different out there on your side of the fence when you're doing the lending?
No. Yeah, we're looking at all of those things. And we don't necessarily look at job growth, I think, as much. It's more about typically what do we see today? And I do ask the question, if some people do get annual raises. But the majority of people that I've been working with have been more conservative. They're not looking to maximize what they could spend. So an idea of waiting for a pay increase that hasn't been pivotal in anyone that I've been working with recently, but it's definitely something to consider.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And interest rates are helping with affordability a ton. And again, I even with the lower interest rate, it's not that I still don't see people maxing out. They can just buy more with their same budgeted amount.
That's true. That's true. And I think that's a big thing with this buyer is where I saw 2006, 2007, people were maxing out their purchase price. You don't see that today.
Yeah.
Somebody can afford, I can afford 250, but I only want to spend 200. I can afford 260, but I only want to spend 220. It is a very common theme. So speaking of pricing, let's take a look at what's going on in Plainfield. So new listings are down, of course, 17.5%. Closed sales are up 25.5%, giving you a inventory change of 62.7 to the negative. So the detached numbers look outstanding. Month over month in Plainfield, up 12.3% in median sales price. We went from 273 last year to 306,500. That is an outstanding increase when you're looking at month over month. And I always think September's a really good, if you had to pick a month to give you the true value of an area, August or September would really be the month to take and pick. I don't think it's May or June because those May or June sales don't kick in to bring up those numbers yet. That's kind of like the first layer, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the average sales price for Plainfield is for month over month is $323,447. That is up 6.4%. But the big numbers that we like to watch, of course, are the trailing 12. And the trailing 12 are just doing outstanding. We're looking at a median sales price of 3.6%, right where Terry likes to see it, giving you a median sales number of $284,950. That's right in your wheelhouse. That 3%.
I think what I noticed on here, Eddie, which is so interesting to me, the percent of original list price received September, 99.3. I've never seen it that high on our show.
No, I don't think I have. I mean, that's looking at it month over month, and that's up 2.7%, and that's a huge jump. The other aspect is giving you an idea of the number and where this market is. Market time month over month is down to 39 days in September. That is, all right, so in September, your house was on the market for 39 days. That's down 27.8%.
Yeah.
Inventory went down, all right, last year at this time, 419 units for sale on Plainfield. Right now, for all of Plainfield, on single family, 154 units, that is down 63.2%.
And that number is just, let that sink in. If you're listening and you have a home to sell.
You only have 100, yep, you have 154 houses to choose from. That's it.
Yeah.
So average market time on the trailing 12 is 67 days. The average sales price on the trailing 12 is $306,416. So definitely looking at some really solid numbers. Looking at the attached family, month over month, you are up 9.9% on median sales price to $205,000. Average sales price is $216,500. 176. That's up 13.5 month over month. And again, 98.1 of original list price received, up 2.6 on an attached unit. Average market time is 46 days. Inventory of attached houses in Plainfield, 36 units, down 60%. There's 36 houses for sale in Plainfield right now on a condo, duplex, townhome. The median sales price is 190. That's up 1.9%. And the average is 203.63. That is up 4.5%. And the trailing, it's on the trailing 12. And the trailing 12 market time is at 65 days. That is up 51.2%. So you see the difference when you look at month over month versus the trailing 12. You can still see that impact of market time from March and April skewing those numbers up higher. When you're looking at that market time in both numbers for trailing 12 or for month over month for attached or detached, 39 days for detached, 46 days market time for attached.
Mm-hmm.
But the trailing 12 is 67, 65. You see the impact that the virus did have in the market time and how we shut down for, almost a month. So it added like 30 days.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, it really did have an impact to what was going on for market time. And that's why I'm seeing a lot of buyers still to this moment, they're not really paying attention to market time. I mean, because think about it. If you are putting your house up for sale, someone comes infected, you have to take your house off the market for 2 weeks now because you have to quarantine. Can't show the house. That's going to have an impact, and that's going to skew. So that's why they're not paying attention to these numbers when it comes to the market and everything along those lines. It's an interesting thing. I think we're going to have to start paying a little bit more attention to that aspect as we're moving forward in the market and seeing if that trailing number starts still coming down more and more. It's also going to be interesting when we get to March and April numbers next year to see that flip. Yeah, you're going to see that flip. So that'll be an interesting spot. So, all right. So stick around here on 1340 WJOL. We're going to be talking about 3 ways to lower inventory is a win for you selling your house here on Get Real with Eddie. Welcome back to 1340 WJOL. We are sitting sequestered in our own little bunkers today on Election Day. Of course, with me is Terry Trotta Early from the Federal Savings Bank, the one, the only that can help you with conventional, FHA, or VA products. Terry, if they have questions when it comes to getting any type of loan or refinancing, where can they reach you at?
Yes, best way to get a hold of me is my cell phone, which is 815-712-7848.
Outstanding. So 3 ways to lower inventory is a win for the seller. So with these low inventory numbers that we're talking about, there are some things that are a win-win for anyone that's looking to sell their property. So Chief Economist Lawrence Yun came out, there's no shortage of hopeful potential buyers, but inventory is historically low. And that is the greatest comment I think I have seen, because let me tell you something. I've got buyers going out and they are still walking away from bad property. I am not seeing buyers going, oh yeah, I'll just take it. So you do have to have your property move in ready.
So it's almost like there's definitely advantage to the sellers, but the buyers aren't just rolling over and saying, there's nothing, I'm going to take whatever I can get. It's
Correct.
like the sellers are preparing their property, looking for whatever that fair price is for their property that's in good condition, and the buyers are jumping on board. So it's kind of I would think it's a nice market to be in.
It's a great market to be in. First reason why is if you're a seller, the higher prices. You're going to get a bidding war on your property, and you're going to get deals that are potentially more towards your advantage finally, the buyers should be better qualified. Your agent is not calling and verifying the lending and doing what they can legally do, because there's some things they can ask and some things they can't. Prime example, I call you up, Terry, hey, well, what's their credit score? Can you tell me what their credit score is?
No, I cannot disclose that information.
Terry, did you run credit?
I sure did.
See, do you want to know how many lenders I have called and they have told me, no, we didn't run credit? Can you believe that?
I mean, I can. It's making me cringe inside, but I can believe it.
It has happened. So the next question I usually ask when we're talking about the qualification and the lending is, do you have paperwork, documentations, W-2s, pay stubs, things, tax returns, things like that that are required by the loan with outstanding, updates. Can you tell me if you have all that documentation?
Yep, I would say the buyers have turned everything in, and not only do I have it, but I have also reviewed it, and it's all meets guidelines. We're looking great.
Okay, so that would be a step ahead on some of it. Sometimes I talk to lenders, they don't even have documentation, they don't have pay stubs or bank statements or anything, which comes into question. If they don't have bank statements, I always wonder how they can answer the next question is, did you verify the down payment? Even FHA has a 3.5% down payment. And
Yep.
I don't know how you verify the down payment without asking them if they have it or seeing documents that show that they have it.
I think that's the way you phrase that question. Did you verify? Because I think sometimes lenders will just believe because they want to quickly get through their pre-approval process. I'm pretty thorough because I don't want to send anybody out who can't actually buy. That's no fun for me or you as the realtor or them. It's just no fun. So I'm, as I said, I'm pretty detailed and thorough. So I know I review all those documents, but I think some people just ask a question and then move forward, take them at their word.
And then, it's not the last question anymore because I had to add a new question because of this year. But the next question is okay, did you put them through an automated underwriting? And my sellers goes, well, why does that matter? And I'm like, well, they put all that information that they have into a computer and the computer spits out a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And that's a really good indication that we're going to have a pretty good transaction. So, I mean, and that's usually the question, did you put them through automated underwriting? And you can disclose that.
Yes, you can. I will say as a caveat, sometimes I think that can give, depending on who you're talking to, if you're talking to a banker who's very detailed and doing their homework up front, then it's a great indicator. But sometimes people are just on the phone, not verifying anything and just putting in what they're told, and they can run it and get an accept, but it's only as good as the information that's been put in it.
That's true. That's true. And that goes back to the documentation, to me, is the biggest question. Do you have tax returns? Do you have pay stubs? Tax returns are a big, big thing because most people don't understand. That's how you know if they might be making blank, but they could be paying out 10 or 20,000 in child support or other payments.
Yeah, and it depends on the type of the loan. Not all loans require it. It depends on the type of the loan, and it depends on the type of the income that the borrower has. If they're self-employed, we absolutely need them. But if they're a salaried worker or an hourly worker, a lot of times we don't need them. Child support, we typically see that. Well, there's a question on the application where they have to answer if they're paying that. And then sometimes we'll see that as well in the pay stubs.
And then the last question I added on is, what number did you use for property tax proration? Because I had a offer this year. In midst of conversation with the lender, they made a comment, and I realized, and I said, wait a minute, what number did you use for taxes? And they came back at $3,600, and the property taxes were like $5,600. And I'm like, no, you're not wrong. And then by the next day, they had rescinded the offer because they could not afford it with the taxes at where it was at. So making sure you know what tax number is used is, I think, very, very important. So getting back into, why this is a win for sellers you're getting a great return on your investment. I mean, when you're looking at the numbers that are out there, it's just outstanding on the return. Um, Equity Insights report CoreLogic explains in the second quarter of 2020, the average homeowner gained approximately $9,800 in equity in the second quarter of 2020.
And isn't that crazy? Because that's when we were in the heart, the lockdown was really happening. That was in the beginning of all of this.
Yep, you were looking at April, May, and June.
You got it. I mean, that's crazy.
That makes me wonder when we finally get the third quarter numbers all calculated and totaled and out, where we're going to actually be at. So, and then last, why it's, like we said, better terms. So those terms are going to be a lot more to your favor. I've had buyers take offers because sellers have waived home inspection. I have had sellers take offers because they're not waiving home inspection, but they're going as is, which means, okay, I don't have to fix anything. All that little pettiness and little stuff, a GFI outlet's bad here. We want you to fix that. Yes, it's a material defect, but it's there. A lot of buyers are taking on those little things, not necessarily the big things.
The caveat to that is, depending on the loan and what kind of loan, if that, your example with the GFI outlets, if that's an FHA or a VA loan, that would be required to be changed before closing.
And that is exactly the reason why, because I was getting to that, why I picked GFI outlets. Yeah, there are some things that are going to be required. I've had a couple FHA appraisers check garage door openers. And that's a big thing, because what they're looking for is, for health and safety, they're looking for the I-beam that you see on garage door openers that causes them to open automatically. So, and that's looking at a health and safety, especially protecting young children. So, there's a lot of little things. You've got to know what type of loan you're doing. That's one of the biggest questions when I start working with a new client. Are we doing FHA, conventional, or VA? Because then it's going to matter or not matter, like a blown seal on a window. A blown seal on a window is an FHA flag automatically. A blown seal on a window, if it's conventional, yeah, it could. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it's not 100%. It's not automatic. It depends on what the end investor on that loan and those parameters are looking at. So, hey, let's take a look at some property in the area. So 15907 Selfridge Circle in Plainfield was under contract. This is out at North Point. It is back up on the market. It is move-in ready. This is brand new construction, ready for you to go. The buyer was unable to meet the terms and get to the closing table, so you got a second shot at this property. This is a ranch home, 2,171 square feet, and it's got a great floor plan. You walk in and you got 2 bedrooms up front with the bathroom, and then you've got this open space and the best part is there's a covered porch in the back. My wife would love the covered porch.
Yes.
So, and then the master bathroom with full walk-in closet, shower, double sinks. It's an outstanding property. So
I'm already looking forward to next summer. This is that same place that has the aquatic center, right?
This location does feature the aquatic center with it's like a 2 or 3 story slide. And it's like there's 2 different slides on it. I think there's the open slide and there's a closed slide, because the closed slides go faster. So,
oh yeah, I'm already looking forward. Positive thinking. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. And you've got a half-court basketball hoop, playground. There's walking trails. It's across the street from Mather Woods, which is walking distance. You can walk through Mather Woods and get right to downtown Plainfield. So if you're willing to walk, just it's a mile through, I think, Mather Woods. And you're right there. You come up right at Village Hall. But I mean, when you're talking, if you jump on a bicycle and you're right there, And then the neighborhood itself is full of walking paths. And it's just such a great location. And I mean, because you're right there at the edge of Plainfield, but you're not sucked into all of the heavy construction traffic that you see on, through 59 or up Caton Farm Road. You kind of avoid all of that where this is at, kind of just off of Renwick Road. So North Point at Springbank. I mean, it's a great location. So my favorite feature too is, and I think, other than the 3-car garage, my favorite feature is the Wi-Fi. These houses have no dead zone Wi-Fi's built into them, and I think that's the greatest part. I mean, it really is.
I need to figure out how to do that in my house. I'm super jealous.
No dead zone Wi-Fi. You've got to get repeaters put into the house, and that's what this has. It has a repeater in the ceiling, in the main living space. So your router goes down into the basement and then connects. And then if it's a 2-story, there's repeaters in every floor. It was the coolest feature I have ever seen. So if you're somebody that likes the Wi-Fi thermostats, Wi-Fi garage openers, Wi-Fi everything, it's great. So, all right, stick it around here on 1340 WJOL. When we get back, we are going to be talking about do you have enough money for your down payment? Right here at 1340 WJOL. Welcome back to Get Real with Eddie here on 1340 WJOL. Hey, if you need information about buying or selling, give me a call at 815-823-5478. That's 815-823-5478. We are here to help you understand the market at all times and get you through. So if you want to check us out online, you can go to our website at yourdwellings.com or check out the show's website too at getrealwitheddy.com. And you can see a lot of our articles that we put up right to that page. And you can also link out to our blog page where we pull all of our articles from. So do you have enough money saved to buy a house? The biggest thing I think people still think you need 20% to buy a house today. So
yeah, I get this question a lot.
That you do get the question a lot. Do I need to have 20% to put down?
And even now, with everything happening, I'll have people that have 20%, but they're being cautious and conservative in this market. So they're like, well, do I have to put it all down, or can I keep some for savings? And a lot of times we only put down 10% or 5%, and they keep the rest in their savings, and they feel really good about that.
You run those numbers for the best scenario, I'm assuming, right?
Oh yeah, I run a couple different options, and then we talk about that because money is on sale right now. The interest rate is so low. Sometimes it is better to go with less money down, because depending on credit score and all different things, for a conventional loan, I mean, mortgage insurance can be extremely reasonable, like $30 a month, and you don't have it that long. So a lot of times people are saying, yeah, with the current situation, I would rather have 15 grand in my savings account than being completely wiped out just to put down 20% and save $30 a month. So we
haven't talked about that and just do a quick second on what is mortgage insurance first.
Yeah, so mortgage insurance, it's called private mortgage insurance for conventional loans, and that's something that you pay anytime that you don't have 20% down. And I'm focusing on conventional loans, and we'll talk about some other loan types later. But what that allows you to do is it allows you to buy a home before you've saved that full amount of the 20% down, and then the amounts. I hate to say sliding scale, but it really is. It factors in your credit score, your debt to income ratio. It factors in quite a few things, and then it will tell me how much that will be for that particular person. So we look at that, and we look at what's the difference in mortgage insurance if you put down 15% or 10%? What does that look like? And then again, that each individual family then gets to choose what makes the best sense for them. And I'm seeing a lot of people choose right now to put down 10 to 15% and keep more in savings just because of that situation that we all find ourselves in right now. And I think that's just fine.
And that is just fine. I mean, it's using the money to what you think is the best use of that money. So a recent survey by Point Two Homes mentioned that 74% of millennials, 25 to 40, that really does say 40 now, say they're interested in purchasing a home over the next 12 months. The study notes 88% say they have significant less savings than the average national down payment, which is $62,600. Thankfully, $62,600 is not the amount needed by every buyer. And this is a big thing that they talk about. NAR gets into it. I just saw the national, and this shows why our market, I mean, we've got strong jobs, we've got these interest rates, everything going on with Will County, Grundy County, and things like that. The national home price, $332,000. And we just did numbers on Plainfield at the trailing 12 is 285. So, I mean, you look at where the numbers at, we're still pretty affordable compared to the rest of the nation.
Yeah, and just quickly going off the $285,000 that dollar amount, if you were to do a 3% down conventional loan, that has a down payment of $8,550.
Yeah, I mean, so that's huge. So NAR was using a $310,600 as their example, and they rolled out a couple different payment plans. You can do 6% down, and that would be about $18,636. You can go FHA, that 3.5% down. So on 310,600, you're looking at $10,871. So these payments are extremely possible and affordable, and that gets us into our next kind of story is that there's down payment assistance out there. So the down payment assistance opens up opportunities that you don't necessarily have to have 20% down. So the 2020 Home Ownership Program Index explains the number of total programs is 2,340, and 81.1% of programs currently have funds available for eligible home buyers. So there's a lot of down payment assistance options down there. One of the things that Lawrence Yoon spoke about is rural areas have the mortgage USDA loans that don't require down payments, and some workers who can work from home may want to consider outer suburbs or small towns where USDA loans are available and where homes are very affordable. So there's a lot of stuff Grundy County wise that do qualify for USDA homes.
And more in our area. And there's a map you can look up too, but Braidwood, Wilmington, or Will County. So some people need to stay in Will County for the jobs they have up here. So Braidwood, Wilmington are good choices. Elwood, parts of Elwood. There's just some opportunities that do allow for that. USDA is a great program. It is income qualified. So the property has to be in a rural area, and then there's income qualifications as well.
Absolutely. And I know I brought the next article up purposely because I know everybody's thinking, well, you're not putting any money down. You know, you're doing this. We're getting back on that roller coaster again, like that caused the Great Recession. And I'm going to tell you, no. Money in does not equal that we're going to have a problem. It's not the skin in the game. It's the monthly payment. Can they afford the monthly payment? Is that monthly payment fixed? And that is a big difference.
Yeah, and before we even jump to this next one, just to kind of tie this together. So the USDA loan, it is 100% finance loan, but they are stricter on ratios. They won't let you extend yourself as far as conventional will or VA or some of the other programs, FHA. That just means that they're not letting you use as much of your monthly income as the other programs would.
Absolutely. So getting into it, Christopher Maloney of Bloomberg Wealth recently explained almost 1/4 of all homeowners who have demand forbearance are still current on their mortgage, according to the latest MBA data. So 25%, just about 25%, even though they've asked for forbearance, they're still current on their mortgage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know everybody's worried about this tsunami of foreclosures coming. I'm going to wait until there's no tsunami of foreclosures coming. I don't see it as of yet. So, with jobs being sustained and everything moving as they are, I am not seeing a tsunami of foreclosures.
I apologize if we talked about this last week. I don't know if we did or it was a conversation we've had. The equity position is different this time than it was last time. So even if you are having some troubles, you can sell your home a lot of the times and not have to bring money to the table to do that.
Yep, absolutely. You sell the house and you are walking away and you get a fresh start.
Yeah.
Hopefully you didn't have any late payments. But if you're in forbearance, then this doesn't count as late payments, and you can start over, in 6-12 months, and hopefully you're still getting the equity in your pocket. You put that in savings, you use that as a down payment the next house. Yep. I know it sounds bad to say that, but it does give you so many options. So, but the equity is a big thing. So the real estate market has a shortage of listings also. That is a big thing that we're looking at in today's market. Prices appreciation, prices were not going up in 2008. So there's a lot of differences that you see. So they're doing a lot of different programs when it comes to, refinance and repayment plans, deferred programs, and modifications. We're getting a little short on time here, so I'm gonna, kind of rip through these really quick. But when you're looking at where the forbearances are and where everything is at, I think we're in a good position. Black Knight highlighted the issue. In total, an estimated of 172,000 loans are in forbearance, have missed 3 or more payments under the plan, and have less than 10% in equity. So 172,000 houses in the entire nation are truly at risk right now. Those are at risk, and those individuals, unfortunately, may come to foreclosure, but this is not a 2008 market at all. So, any final thoughts before we head out for, and did you vote already or no?
No, I'm going to go right after.
All right, awesome. Well, you go vote, and I wish everybody a outstanding day, and I hope you get out, go vote. It is your right, and it's that simple. Vote what you think is right for you, for the country, and as they say, God bless America. So stick it around here on 1340 WJOL for ABC News.